What's going on, tech world? It is Craig from MobileTechTalk, and today I have another video sample. This is a 4K 30 frames per second video sample from the Vivo Y70. Now, you may well have seen my Vivo X51 5G, amazing name by the way, video sample. That has a gimbal that increases the image stabilization optically. So what that particular gimbal did was enable the lens basically to float and therefore stabilize the video a little bit more. The Y70 is a mid-range device. It doesn't have that. In fact, this doesn't have any optical image stabilization at all. So we're going to see how this fares. Just off the bat then, this is a €270 device, which is around about £240. So a hell of a lot cheaper than the 750 of the X51 5G. So I'm not expecting miracles here. What else do you get with the Vivo Y70? So it's got a 6.4 inch 6.4 inch AMOLED display. Those ducks are quite loud. We might go over there and see if we can snap some of them. Yeah, 6.4 inch AMOLED display. It's a 1080p display, which in my use seems to be absolutely fine. I like the fact that they've put an AMOLED on a mid-range device. I love the always-on display. I like the fact that it sips battery and I can see my notifications. Comes with Android 10 with the FunTouch OS, which is Vivo's proprietary skin on top. Relatively stock now. Now they've brought it to the West. You get a Snapdragon 665. Now this chip is, so you get a 765 in their flagship, the X51 5G. So the 665 is around about, at the point of recording in November 2020, around about 18 months old, give or take. So it's not a new device. It's still an 8-core device, but they're, the Cairo chips that are running in the CPU are of a lower clock speed and obviously aged, and it's on a significantly larger fabrication as well. So it's on 11 nanometer instead of, I think, 7 nanometer on the 765. So there will be some efficiencies lost here, but the processor should still give you a little bit of energy efficiency. So I say a little bit. It should give you the performance you need, and it should give you the efficiency to be able to get through a day with this particular phone. But we will see in our full review, which we're obviously underway now. You also get a triple camera setup on a mid-range device. Yeah, a year ago having 3 cameras would have been ridiculous, and now you're getting them on mid-range devices. I mean, the Apple iPhone mini's got 2 cameras, and that's the same price as the X51 5G, there or thereabouts. So you do really get a lot of camera for your money on Android. The quality of those cameras though is very variable when it comes to Android ecosystem as opposed to Apple. So you got to take what it says on the paper with a pinch of salt. You get in a 48 megapixel wide lens with a 1.8 aperture. So you're getting quite a wide, and you should be able to get some decent bokeh effects as well with the wide aperture, large aperture rather. But you've got no, as I said, optical image stabilization. You do have some autofocus technology in there, but then the bits that I don't like, but we'll see how this comes out on the stills, is you've got a 2 megapixel f2.4 macro lens, and then exactly the same depth lens. So you've got a 2 megapixel f2.4 depth lens. So the macro lens is obviously so you can take shots very, very close up to leaves, to flowers, and get some detail. It remains to be seen how much detail you can actually get with 2 megapixels, but we've seen on other devices that it's not quite a lot. The X51 5G actually used a wide angle lens, which was an 8 megapixel lens, and cropped in. So you got a little bit more detail. Still wasn't great, but you got a little bit more detail. We'll see how this 2 megapixel does. And then you've got the 2 megapixel depth sensor, which is used for the fake sort of bokeh effects. Well, it's not really fake, it's bokeh effect, but it's 2 megapixels. We'll see how much detail you get. You get 128 gig of storage as standard, and you get 8 gigabytes of RAM, which again for a mid-range device is pretty darn good. You get a 41 megapixel. No, you don't. You get a 41,000 milliamp hour battery. Let me try that again. You get a 4,100 milliamp hour battery. Imagine a 41,000 milliamp hour battery in a mid-range device costing £240. Yeah, it's a 4,100 milliamp hour battery. You've also got a headphone jack on this device. Yeah, didn't think we'd be seeing them too often. You've also got a fingerprint scanner and all the usual bits and pieces, and you can get it in a gravity black or an oxygen blue. So black and blue. Black and blue. So we're just going to see, really. I mean, this is already a 5.5 minute video. Just how well this does with the dynamic range going into the sun. Not that there's much of that about. And how crispy it gets. I can tell you that on the screen it's a little bit jittery, but I don't know whether that's because it's attempting to play back 4K 30 FPS on a 665, Snapdragon 665, whilst I'm recording. We shall see. Let's just go over here and go into the sun a little bit more. The one thing I did notice on the X51 5G, whilst the camera was really, really good, it did struggle with the highest highs and the lowest lows in terms of the dynamic range when you're out and about. And this 48 megapixel camera seems to be doing the same. But we'll give it a chance. There's not a lot of colour around at the moment. You can see there's some ducks over there. I'll see if I can crop in. It's digital zoom, but we'll see if we can get some these ducks in. So this is at 2x, and as I say, it's digital zoom, so no telephoto on this. We'll be doing a selfie camera, and I may do a 1080p as well, because on this mid-range sort of device, I think a 1080p recording at 60 FPS, which it can do, would be a better use case than using 4K. 4K on these devices without image stabilization is sometimes a little bit hit and miss. We'll see what this looks like. I mean, this doesn't seem to be doing too bad, as I say, for £240. So far, so good in terms of sort of day-to-day performance. But if you're after something more than sort of passable social media shots that you can apply filters to, we will have to wait and see in the full review. So this has been Craig from MobileTechTalk. Keep it locked for the full review of the Vivo Y70. We've also got the Vivo Y20, which is their budget. They don't say low end, why would they? It's their budget offering. Yeah, stay tuned for that. We're going to have a couple of camera samples. I'm going to try and do a few more unboxings on the channel. We're getting a little bit more tech in at the moment after a very, very busy period for all of us here at MobileTechTalk. So yeah, keep it locked, keep safe, and we will see you on the next one.